and welcome to Finding Time to Build Scalability. I'm Joy Houston, and first of all, I want to let you guys know that something we decided to do to be in total integrity with this program is we are making the jump from one-on-one care for our marketing clients and our marketing agency to one-to-many by building online programs exactly the way that you are. Okay. Now I realize that means we have to find the time, right? We have to find the time to hone processes that we use one-on-one and turn them into systems that can be used one-to-many. Now we all know what we're doing, right? You know how to get the results. We know how to get the results, but sometimes it takes a little bit of extra time, and it definitely takes mental bandwidth in order to be able to jump the gap from one-to-one to one-to-many. So I don't want to step over the fact that you guys may be really hunting and pecking for precious hours or even half-hour blocks where you can focus on this. So I want to be completely transparent with what we are doing to find the time to build scalability and to the ultimate time goal or schedule that we are moving towards, and invite you on this journey with us. So again, I'm Joy. For those of you who haven't seen any videos with me yet, I'm Joy Houston. I'm the Chief Connection Officer here at HealAtScale. I'll be helping you most with your copy and content. So this is a little bit outside that, but I have to tell you, when you go to create copy and content, or when you go to do the tech and traffic modules with Travis, you're going to need a little bit of time to do that. So here's the way that we are using this, using time to our advantage. We got this idea from Nick Peterson. We were turned on to Nick Peterson. He's a business coach, strategist. We got turned on to him from Laurel, one of our favorite Facebook ad advisors. And I just went down that rabbit hole, like dog walks and dishwashing. I was listening. So check him out. His name is Nick Peterson, M-I-N-I-C, just N-I-C, I believe. Okay, Nick Peterson. And the concept that he teaches is that you take a week off every month to focus on your business. He has a different title for it. I call it a Thrive Week. And so if you want to begin with the end in mind, which is what that's one of Franklin Covey's, I think it's the second habit in Franklin Covey's 8 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm pretty sure it's number 2. Don't quote me on that. We want to begin with the end in mind. So if we are starting with this idea that we would like one whole week a month dedicated to just thriving. Now, for me, thriving means across the board. So thriving in my health, my relationship, my spiritual practice, my business, everything, right? If we want to move towards taking a Thrive Week, that's my particular goal. You might not have that, but that's my particular goal. Then we need to begin with the end in mind, right? And so that means that we're going to have to do a few things. Number one, we're going to have to take a hard look at our schedule right now. What are we spending our time on? What are we loving? What are we hating? For me, I actually reviewed my schedule for a whole week. I made little notes in my journal as I went through the day, and I just noticed where I felt extreme stress in my body over what I was doing, right? So if it's something that felt really tedious or frustrating, or, gosh, I already have a system for this, it's time to hire someone, or it's time to pass this on to the VA. Those were the things that I looked for, because I feel like my body's going to give me great information, right? If I'm, infuriated at doing a task, there's probably a clue there for me where I could make my life a little more smooth and easygoing. So that was the way that I did it. I'll leave it up to you how to do it, but you definitely want to take a hard look at your schedule, whether you pull up your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use and look back and see how you've been dedicating your time and where you want to change that. That's the absolute first thing to tackle. And then second is to figure out, what can you delegate, right? What is organized and efficient and clear enough that you could make an SOP, a standard operating procedure document, that could let someone else take that off your plate, but not with anxiety, right? We want you to be able to hand things over fully knowing that while there may be a little bit of a learning curve, it's going to be handled perfectly because you gave them every single direction, like soup to nuts, top to bottom. You told them everything to do. Now, obviously, when you start doing that, the first time you get something back from someone, you need to expect a little bit of room for learning curve, but that's when you adjust the SOP and make sure that everything's there. So first, check your calendar, see how you're spending your time, and particularly look for things you don't want. Second, look for anything and everything that can be deferred. And then third, literally begin with the end in mind. For me, as I shared with you, I'm looking to take a Thrive week off to focus on my business and anything in my life that need attention. I'm also looking to take all Fridays off. Okay. And that's not off as in, I want to go sit on the couch and eat bonbons. That's really not my style anyway. But it's all Fridays off to focus on what I need to focus on in my business that particular week, right? So those might be days that, for example, I would schedule a content day. So around here, we like to batch things. Right? So instead of trying to come up with a whole bunch of little videos here and there and everywhere and trying to find time all the time, once a quarter, we like to batch our content videos and then they're just ready. And as we grow team, then those are things that other people can handle for us, right? Can you take that video and can you transcribe it and then turn the transcription into a cute blog post, pull out the quotes, put those out as quote cards, pull little tidbits and use them as teaser content, etc., etc. So when I say I want to take Fridays off in one Thrive week, I don't mean that I only am going to work 4 days and I'm just whatever, gonna, do whatever comes to mind. I mean, I'm still attaining the missions in my life and in my business, but I want that time to be open and dedicated. So I always know that when there's something that you guys need, I have time to think through it, create it, chew on it, make sure that I have time to perfect it. And if we don't give ourselves blocks of time to do that, this year is going to look like next year is going to look like next. It's going to just be the same, right? Our brains and our reality gets trapped in the same pattern that we're already in, unless we create a new vision for it and we move actively toward that vision. Okay. So I really hope I'm not overstepping my bounds here. I'm sharing this for personal reasons. You didn't come to this for, personal development or time management. But I don't want to overstep the fact that it is challenging to find time to do this. So I want to reveal what's working for me on the off chance that it helps you. Okay. So first, check your calendar. Second, get everything organized that you can actually delegate to other people. Within the training program, you're going to find there's a training that Travis made for you, like hiring a virtual assistant, hiring a video editor, the Incentivize Integrator training. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to help you delegate in the future, even if you're not ready right now. So just think through what are the list of things that you could delegate so you could send off, and then decide what you want your calendar to look like. For me, I'm going for a week off, a Thrive week, and Fridays off for doing what I need to do to maintain the sharpest spear I possibly can as I go to battle for you all. Okay. So those are the 3 primary things. Now that might sound a little overwhelming. So I wanted to at least share with you, and this is in the workbook. So I'm not going to take a ton of your time to go through all of this. But I did break this out in your workbook for you to start with the time inventory, right? Noticing how much time you spend, note which tasks create negative feelings, right? For me, I did that. What feels icky in my body? And then I want you to create a sample week that looks exactly how you want it. Now, I'm going to break out of this presentation. So for me, this is Google Calendar. Google Calendar's free, so if you're not already using it, you could just grab that. And I want to show you how you could really do a test calendar to sketch it out, because this was when it really became real for me, was when I decided, okay, if I'm going to move toward a week off to focus on everything that keeps my life amazing, and I want Fridays off, what does that even look like? You can be so busy feeling like busier than a one-arm paper hanger kind of feeling, that it's really hard to even envision a schedule that would look exactly how you want it. So I encourage you to get a little cup of, hot tea or a glass of wine or a green juice and actually put blocks on a calendar, a blank one, okay? If you don't know how to make a blank calendar, you can come down here where it says other calendars and you can just hit add and you can name the calendar, my perfect week or whatever you want. And you end up with a blank canvas like this, okay? So there's nothing on here. None of my routine appointments are on here. And what I did was I went through and I scheduled everything that I know I would need to do for my business to thrive, my body to thrive. The only thing that I left off of this version that I'm sharing with you is what I would want to do for my family, like my keep my relationship with my husband and my son and my daughter exciting. So I didn't reveal those on here, but you guys can see everything else. So you can see that I've blocked time in the morning for my yoga. I have makeup and mantra time. I have family breakfast, including the dog walk. I have a 15-minute gap before I go to serve the groups that we have live, just to make sure I center myself and I can show up as big as possible. And then I blocked everything out. Okay, I know I need to serve the Practitioner Accelerator group. And then I know after that, I need some client care time because whatever they needed, whatever happened, I may need to jump through some hoops to support them in being successful. Okay, so I know I reserved ample time for that. And then, we have strong affiliate relationships and those need to be nurtured and they need to be extended, right? Our relationships are constantly growing and affiliates are a great way for us to reach new potential clients without, throwing yet more money at Facebook and Google ads. Okay. So I know that I need to do that. Now, do I need to do it every day? No, I've blocked time a couple days a week in order to do that. I also know that I'm going to need some time to be active on social. Now, like I said before, we have some cheats where we can batch create content. I love that. But sometimes something will come up really quickly. And I just want to make sure that I have time at least a couple of times a week where I can go and do a live with someone exciting or make stories, that kind of thing. And then I reserve lunch time, right? We call it the piazza, our little backyard, healthy lunch in the piazza. So I want to make sure that I have that blocked, right? The good thing about doing this, you guys, is if any of you are using book a call funnels, which is just a funnel where people have the opportunity to get on your schedule, you need to be blocking these things for you, yes, so everything's on there that you need to do, but also so that you have plenty of open time. So you can see that what I've left open here, all of that time would be open on my scheduling. Now, some of you may pull in a lot more book a call appointments in the morning, in which case you might want to flip this, right? Most of your clients want to talk to you in the morning. Great. You would want more free time on your schedule in the morning for those things. For me, I notice everybody tends to want to book in the afternoon, so I freed up my schedule in the afternoon. Now, if there's no calls, if there's nothing booked at that time, if the team doesn't need me, Travis doesn't need me, you guys don't need me, well, hey, great. Look, I have a lot of potential open time, which sounds pretty exciting to me, right? And then I wrap up my days at 4:30 for my afternoon yoga, and then we cook dinner together, and the night is family time. So I encourage you to do this. Don't do it on your existing calendar because you'll start crying about how unrealistic it feels, most likely, or at least I would if I tried to do that. Create a brand new, fresh one and just start playing it around until you get to this calendar and you love it. When I look at this calendar, I'm like, heck yeah, like I'm done at noon having lunch and then I have some open time. Right? And I can use that for different things that I might need. I'm open for client calls if they need me, anyone schedules with me, and I'm cut out at 4:30. Like that, for me, that's great. And I have Fridays off to decide exactly what needs to be done in the business, right? So I encourage you to draw this out in that way so that you can move towards a schedule that you're actually super excited about, because we're layering on extra work for you right now, like outside of your normal, everything that you were busy with before, right? So what I want to make sure is that you are moving towards a schedule that actually gets you excited. And when I finalized my schedule and I finally was like, oh my gosh, I would love it if that was my life, Monday through Thursday, and then I had my free Fridays, and then once a week, I have an entire week to focus. I mean, that gives me opportunity to write a book about how all of this works for people who never want to take our programs, but they do want to get ahead. It just opens up a whole big world of possibility because I have time and, probably more importantly, mental bandwidth cleared and open and available. That's where I'm able to be creative. That's where I'm able to be most me, is when I'm not so confined by my schedule that all the good stuff is consumed. All my time, all my energy, all my attention is just consumed. So I encourage you to do that. And then once you've done that, now you know, okay, well, this is where I'm headed, right? You've at least put a destination in the GPS. I also wanted to share with you a few staged ways to move toward actually having that be your actual schedule, okay? So the first thing is to start what I call time transition. And that's just 3 basic things. Each tool has 3 things. You need to be blocking time dedicated to scaling your health business, right? So you guys, I don't care if right now you're booked full up. The majority of you that I talk to, at least on your Practitioner Accelerator sessions, are reserving some time for scaling your business. So good on you. But for those of you who are not, please block time. Not late at night time when you're exhausted and spent, but good time when you know. If you're a morning person, then block that first slot, right? Even if you have to block that from being available for patients, what you invest in with that time, with dedicating that time to scaling now, will pay dividends in the future, right? But if you just keep doing the same thing, you're just going to keep getting the same results, right? The next thing is to implement the 3D process, the 4D process, that's a typo, wherever possible, okay? I'll explain exactly what that is in just a minute, but the last thing to do is to start batching tasks. Okay, so if you need to order tests, if you need to send supplement, suggestions to people, if you need to send their follow-up notes, try to batch all of those things in the same time, because it's better for your brain, right? One of the brands that Travis worked with for a really long time to turn around was John Assaraf's neuroscience. And so the great thing about that was we got all of this great information. And so one of the things that the brain likes the best is stay focused on one thing, so it doesn't have to switch and multitask all the time. So that's going to make a more efficient use of your time. Okay, and then the next layer, once you've implemented those, it's time to refine. And that's when you want to move towards dedicating a full business day each week to scaling your business. Now, for me, that's Fridays. It doesn't matter what day it is, but try to move toward the point of taking an entire day for yourself just to focus on scaling, okay? Whether that's creating the content videos for inside your program, or you're doing your content marketing plan, or whatever it is, try to give yourself a whole open wide day. It feels like, you guys, it feels so freeing, right? Because you're not constrained, squeezing it in between different things. You actually have the whole day to really go for it and give it your all. Then the next thing is to delete all non-essential tasks based on your current quarterly review. Now, in Practitioner Accelerator, we do a quarterly review with the group to pull to the very top of your action list 3 primary objectives, right? Because if you try to do everything, you're going to accomplish almost nothing, okay? So deleting all non-essential tasks that don't help you fulfill your 3 primary objectives for any given quarter of the year. Okay. And last is to hire help. Okay. Even if you just use the training video in the course to hire a very inexpensive overseas VA, it's time to make sure that you build a place in your mind that you're not a solopreneur, that you're someone who has help because you deserve help, and because what you can make when you're not doing those tasks that you delegate exponentiates your income. So it's just worth making that investment. And then once you've done that, you move on even more, and you want to add a day to your Thrive week at consistent intervals. So for me, once I was able to get all the Fridays off, then I want to move to taking a Thursday off in that last week of the month, because I chose the last week of the month. You might choose the first or the middle, doesn't really matter. So once you get your one day off a week, then pick a week a month that you want to augment more free time, and move towards adding an additional day as you can. For me, my goal is to add an additional day every quarter. Okay, because we look at things in our business around quarters. We encourage you who stay on and work with us in Practitioner Accelerator to do the very same thing, because it just breaks down in your mind. Instead of feeling overwhelming, you're just tackling things a quarter at a time. And then you want to move on and start optimizing operations. Okay. This is where we give the people on our team clear KPIs, which stands for key performance indicators. Okay. So if you have someone who's making, let's say, your blog posts and your social media, you might give them a key performance indicator of doing a certain number of blog posts, a certain number of social media platforms on each post, and then maybe tracking the engagement. And so their clear KPI each week is, 5 of these and 3 of these and 1 full report. That's very clear KPIs. They never wonder whether or not they're doing a good job because you told them exactly what good job looks like, right? So make sure that you have that clarity. And then commit time and attention to cooperative capitalism. And you guys, that is taking some of your Friday, whatever day you pick, your off day and your Thrive week to focus on building the relationships that are going to grow your business, because nothing will do that faster than having strong relationship capital in your industry. Okay, now a few tools to start actually implementing all that. In the bonuses, a training will come live a little bit later about how to hire a virtual assistant overseas for very little. You guys, that's life-changing. Hiring a video editor. I know a lot of you are still shooting your own videos, but the editing itself can take as long as the video, if not longer. So that's something that he trains you how to hire a video editor very reasonably as well to get that off your plate. And then you'll want to check out the incentivized integrator training. That is about finding someone who's on your team. It could be someone who just believes really strongly in you. Sometimes it can be a spouse or, a customer who you've gotten great reviews for and they're looking for work. But the incentivized integrator is someone who you already know they do things well for you. They're already a culture fit in your brand. Everything's fine. And they're very motivated. You want to train them, but you also want to keep them, right? Because if you train someone and then they quit and you have to train someone again, that's a huge loss for your business. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources that you invest in educating them. So we believed in following the incentivized integrator process, which is where you simply have the incentivized integrator help you with specific funnel, for example, and then you cut them in to the success of that funnel. So now, they're pretty darn passionate about the success of that particular funnel because they are tied into the success of that particular funnel for as long as they stay with the business. If they leave, obviously, then that goes bye-bye. And the other tool is the 4D process, which I promised I would show you, and I will show you right now. Okay, and I want to let you guys know that this is adopted from Ari Meisel, and what he was talking about, he called it the 3D process, and he just kind of merged doing it and delegating it. That didn't work for me because I have this very satisfaction when I do it myself, and I still have a little bit of anxiety about delegating it until I know my SOP has been not only delivered, but then practiced and then returned back to me so it's refined. So I separate those two so that I know what has been done and what has been delegated. And he was using it for email. He's basically like, hey, stop wasting time in email, do this quick 3D process and save hours in your life. I like to use it for pretty much everything, not just email, but everything that's on my list. And what I love about this process is that I can feel like I'm totally in integrity. And I don't know about you guys, but if there's that email that needs to be returned or that call that I haven't made back yet, or I know someone's waiting on something from me, that I believe deteriorates my health. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong because you're the experts in the health world, but I just notice it's like a little draw on my energy over here and a little draw over there. And before you know it, instead of being this, bucket full of life energy, I've leaked it out all over the place, right? So I like to use this on my entire to-do list, my email, everything I possibly can in my life. Okay. And that's this. You look at what's in front of you and needs to be done, whether it's an email or something on your to-do list, and you just do it. Like stop waiting, stop putting it off, stop procrastinating. For me, I know that I like to use I think I have one right here. Yes. I like to use these. the full focus planner. I don't know if you guys can see these. I can make sure that you have a link to them. I like to use the full focus planner, and it has my big 3 items that I need to do for the day. I actually really like to try to do those first. I feel like I'm most efficient when I just do it. So stop procrastinating, just get the hard stuff done, check, done, over, finished. The next is to delegate it. Obviously, that's a lot easier once you have standard operating procedures for every single thing that you want done, right? This can be as simple as, hey, you know what? I noticed I get the same, few things when I go to the grocery store a lot, except for maybe my produce that changes seasonally. You can make an Instacart list for that, right? And that's like auto delegating something that would have taken an hour out of your day to go to the store, shop, come back, unpack it, put it in the fridge, right? So delegate it, whether that's to team members or you're finding an app or a service that does it for you. The other thing is to defer it. Now, defer it is technically procrastinating, right? But what it does for me that I want to share with you is that it cuts those out of integrity ties. Okay, so maybe I can't do something, by when I said I'm going to do it. But I can reach out to that person and make it very clear. Oh my gosh, I wanted to get this to you by this day, but XYZ is preventing me from doing that. I'm owning this and I'm promising it to you by fill in the date, new time, whatever that is. When you keep the lines of communication open, I don't know what your experience will be, but for me, I find that it snips that energetic draw that kind of pulls energy from me, knowing that there's something out there that I didn't do and I didn't communicate about it. Okay, so do it, delegate it, defer it, and last but not least, delete it. Like, I can't tell you how many things that I really had in my sphere of reality as essential. And when I added this last, hey, let's just delete it and keep to only the essential, it left a lot more energy, time, and resources for me and for me to use on my business and my family. So really ask yourself, is this essential or not? If it's not, moving on, lighten your load, okay? Now, obviously, your time management is up to you. Again, if anyone feels like this kind of content is overstepping bounds, my apologies. However, I have been where you are. I am where you are because we are still adding one-to-many options in our business. And we still have one-on-one agency clients. And I love that. I'm never going to give that up. We've helped some practitioners where they love their online stuff so much that they don't like it. Me, I like having some one-on-one. I like to keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on. Facebook ads change all the time. Google ads change all the time. IG changes all the time. There's new software. There's new apps. There's new tracking. I like to be on the forefront, figuring out what's going to serve you guys the best. And when I have control over the way that a funnel is being built or run, then I'm right there in the front lines using the best of the best that I can get my hands on. So I want that one-on-one time, okay? But whatever it is that you guys want your schedule to look like, map it out and move rapidly towards it. If there's anything that I can do or reveal from how I'm managing to do that, you guys, I'm an open book. Please make sure to post those questions in the Facebook and I will share whatever I can with you to support you in making sure that you have the time to scale in the way that you deserve. Thanks so much for being here with me. I'll see you in the next video. If you're doing these videos in order, the next video for you to see would be the handy design hacks. I want you to watch that training so you kind of get the hang of how to do it. The real to-dos on there, and don't delete these. I hope you don't defer them. You could delegate it if you have someone to help you. You could definitely delegate it. And you could definitely do it. But the 2 takeaways from that training that I want is I really want you to have your brand board ready, right? Your colors picked out and your fonts picked out, any photo stylizing that you want to make sure that you use consistently through your brand. Have your brand board ready and then look at the graphic asset checklist. If you have someone who's helping you with graphic design, have them do it. It's already the sizes, everything's already there for them. So that's pretty darn easy for them. If you're doing it yourself, then I at least recommend that you have your headshot ready as a PNG, which is just a transparent background, so that when we are together doing your sales page, you can pop that photo right in there, okay? So next training, handy design hacks, the big to-dos from there, create your brand board and use the graphic asset checklist, and I will see you guys inside the group.